This is a quick little review on the properties of operations. In the end, it's not important that you know the names of the operations. It's important that you know when you can use them and why you might use them, and that they are tools that will help you when you have to simplify something or combine like terms. The first property we want to talk about is commutative property. The root word of commutative is to commute, which means to travel. Like a commuter train takes people into the city and out of the city back to their homes. There's some examples, but when I use commute, I talk about switching the order or traveling back and forth. When you look at these problems, you see that in this first problem, it was 5, then 3, and then it changed to 3 and 5. Here was B, then 9, then it changed to 9 and B. So the order should change. So when you read the next one, 7 times 4, what's going to change is the order, 4 times 7. Negative 3 times 2, 2 times negative, I don't know where that 3 went, but let's just say there's a negative 3 there. So 2 times negative 3. So the order is always changing. The key is you need to know when you can do it. You can do this in addition and multiplication. These are the 2 times that you can switch the order. So if you said, I have 7 plus 4 plus 3, and maybe you notice that 3 and 7 are compatible numbers. Well, one thing you can do is, since it's addition, you can switch the order of that and make that 3 plus 7 plus 4. Now your compatible numbers add up to make 10 plus 4 is 14. If you would have done it this way, 11 plus 3 is still 14. You'll get the same answer, just it's a different way to make things move around. The next property is the associative property. Again, it works for addition and multiplication. The group, your associates, associate is the root word there. Your associates are your group, or the people you hang out with, or the people you work with, some way that you're grouped together with people. So in these problems, you see how 2 and 4 are grouped together. They're in a grouping symbol. And 9 is on the outside. And look, the order doesn't change. It goes 2, 4, 9, 2, 4, 9. So it's not the commutative property like we talked about. The order does not change. But the grouping changes. 2 and 4 were friends, and then it switches to be 4 and 9 are friends. So the grouping is changing, although the order is not in this case. So we have the associative property. So again, here's another example of that. We have 3 times 5, that's a group, times 4. And then we have 3 on the outside and 5 times 4. Again, the order did not change. 3, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4. But what changed was the grouping. And once again, because maybe 3 times 5, 15 times 4 is a little bit more of a difficult problem to do than 3 times 20, which they get the same answer, of course, but we're doing them in a little bit different order, not because we changed the order, but because we changed the way we group them. Third one is probably the most essential of all these. The one that you need to know to be able to work with is called the distributive property. Distribute is the root word there, and that means to give out to a group, right? So if I distribute $20 bills to my class, everybody in the group gets a $20 bill. And so a couple different ways you'll hear me talking about it is everyone in the group gets some, and you'll also hear me talk about busting it out of jail, because right now, when I look at that first problem, 3p plus 5 is kind of in jail. It's separated into a group away from the 4. To be able to get it out, I need to bust it out of jail by taking that 4 times 3p, and then that 4 times 5, and then I can try to add those together. So of course, when you take 4 times 3p, you get 12p. When you take 4 times 5, you get 20. Those are not like terms, so you can't add them together, but at least they're out of jail together, okay? So the second one, again, 5 times 12 is 60. 5 times 3 is 15, and then you can subtract, and this time you could do it because they're like terms and get 45. You might say, well, why is this useful? Well, have you ever heard your teachers do like larger math problems than what we learned? Nobody's learned how to do, or I doubt anybody's learned their sixes, their multiplication facts, 6s up to 117. But what Mr. Dellenbaugh would do that in his head is he would take that 117 and break it down to 100 plus 17 and take that times 6, because I can do 6 times 100 in my head, and I can do 6 times 17 in my head, and then I can add them back together and get my answer, 702. And maybe you can't do 17 times 6, so could you still bust it down into 6 times 100 plus 10 plus 7? Because now you have 600, and then you have 60, and then you have 42, and you add all those together, you'll still get to your answer of 702. Next property is the identity property. It is what it is. That's its DNA. You can change the way you look. You can change a lot of things about yourself, but your DNA is who you are. It's not going to change. So this works with addition when you're adding 0. So anything plus 0 stays the same. That 5, you add 0 to it, it's still a 5. That M, you add 0 to it, it's still an M. It also works with multiplication when you are multiplying by 1. 12 times 1 stays a 12. G times 1 stays a G. So if I had an F and I added 0 to it, then I get F. And if I have M, one way you need to understand this is some people don't know what the coefficient of that M is. Well, if there's no coefficient, it's an understood 1, because 1 times M is M, so a lot of times we don't write that understood 1. The 0 property states that anything times 0 equals 0. So 9 times 0 equals 0, and D times 0 equals 0, and chicken times 0 equals 0. Anything times 0 equals 0. That's the 0 property. The inverse property, the undo property, or the cancel it out property, states that anything plus its additive inverse, that's its opposite, same thing, that's kind of a different way of saying opposite, equals 0. So 8, positive 8, plus negative 8 equals 0. If I had a negative 4 and I wanted to cancel it out, I'd add 4, and that would become 0. And remember why this comes in handy is eventually when we have an algebraic equation, let's say I had this problem, I don't really want to know what m plus 9 adds up to be. I want to know what m adds up to be. So to get rid of that plus 9, I do its opposite, which is either minus 9 or add the opposite, plus negative 9. Those two things cancel each other out. Does that make sense? And then, of course, you'd do it to the other side, and you'd get your answer, which is 28. But the key is we want to be able to cancel something out. In multiplication, you want to cancel things out, but in multiplication, you want to go down to 1. So see, when you're adding, you want to be anything plus 0, because that gets you back to its identity. When you're in multiplication, you want to go anything times 1 gets it back to itself, which is its identity. So we want to get back to 1. So if I have a 3/7, the way to get that to be a 1 is to take it times its reciprocal, which is also called the multiplicative inverse. That's another name for it, kind of like additive inverse is a name for opposite. Multiplicative inverse means reciprocal, or reciprocal means multiplicative inverse. Because if I did this problem now, I'd get 21 over 21, which is 1. Same thing here. You can do that with same thing, you can do the multiplicative inverse or reciprocal with a mixed number. You just need to change it to an improper fraction first. So you change this to 32 plus 1 is 33/8. So its multiplicative inverse would be 8/33. When you multiply them, you'll get 1. Same thing with 4. How do you write 4 as an improper fraction? You write it as 4 over 1. You take that times 1/4, and it turns it into 1, which, of course, with multiplication, helps get you back to its identity. Because then, let's say you had 3g equals 21, but you don't want to know what 3g is, of course, you want to know what g is. So what do? We divide by 3, which is really the same as multiplying it times its reciprocal, or its multiplicative inverse, which changes this to 3 over 3g, which changes it to 1g. Of course, I take the other side times 1/3 and get 7, and that is in that way making it into 1g, which is back to its identity, because that disappears and you're left with g equals 7. But we want to get rid of the 3, we want to cancel it out, we want to inverse it, we take it times its multiplicative inverse or reciprocal.